any of you would like to ask the chess any questions, feel free to do so. There's not much point asking me anything because I don't know anything.
Alan, you've got a very short arm on you. Transgender Sunday. You've done away with it.
Yeah, well, I used to use the tremolo a lot, but then everybody else did, so I just put mine off.
When you play chromatically, it seems...
Actually, I don't play chromatically.
Don't you?
No, because chromatically means when everything's a half step. Well, I don't do that. I actually don't like that sound at all.
Well, it doesn't mean that everything's a half step, it just means that it's half. It's you bridge two scale intervals or whatever.
Yeah, but usually that's what I do, is I just connect different things together. You know, I like change from one chord to another, or one scale to another, or inject extra things.
And is it the destination that's the important thing, or are you thinking of connecting those two scales together?
Well, actually, both. Sometimes I think about where I'm going, other times I'm so busy thinking about what I'm doing there that when I get where I'm going, it's wrong. So, I just, it's improvisation. I just try to play over the chorus the best I can with what I've learned over the time I've been playing. I think that's all it is.
But a lot of people find it really difficult. I mean, the most difficult thing is actually playing over chords. And what sort of practice did you do? And how do you start to actually?
Well, it is really difficult for me anyway, because that's why I'm always so depressed, because I never play anything that I like.
Everyone else is depressed because you're doing the opposite. You play everything you can. Well, it's true. Isn't it true?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, we're just, I always look at you and connecting from chord to chord, and it looks effortless. But it's hard.
It doesn't feel that way.
But it's hard. I mean, everybody tries it. Or that's the thing that people get together last. Your technique is something that comes together usually in the first year or so of your playing. But soloing over chords, a lifetime sort of work, isn't it? And
yeah, it is. That's something that I wanted to be able to do. It's like my ambition is to be able to find, my goal, which you never get there, ever, anybody, I don't think. So it's just to be able to play good over the chords, and it's a constant struggle, but it's great. It's good fun. Sometimes it's good.
What I was just thinking is that you seem to really enjoy the drums, and yet you seem to have gone great pains to eliminate picking when you play, which is like to deny yourself a percussive dimension.
Well, it's like, really, I played the wrong instrument, because I don't really like guitar very much. And the thing is that I wanted to play the saxophone, but I didn't get the saxophone when I was a kid. My dad gave me a guitar, so I started messing around with the guitar, but I didn't really like it. It was just that after a while I realised that I'd learned a few things, and then when I tried to play another instrument, it seemed even worse. So, but I've always tried to, I suppose that sound that, the legato thing came about for me, was just, I sort of was always trying to get something else out of it, and I could never do it any other way either. But the longer that I've been playing, I used to think that the legato technique had a lot of downfalls in it, like an incomplete technique, but I've changed my mind about it now. I think that eventually, not me, but it's possible to play anything using that technique. Whereas I didn't used to feel that before. I used to think there was things that other people could do, like certain note combinations that you couldn't do with that technique, but I don't believe that anymore.
Now, what I was thinking is because it takes the attack of things that it's really going against, what should be.
Well, it's like if I played the saxophone, to me it would sound horrendous if you tongued every note. It would just be like. I mean, I like the legato thing, which is why I like the horn-like sounds, and I like the violin for that reason too, because it's a very it's more vocal. It's a more vocal kind of sound. I love all the other guys who don't do it that way as well. It's like a lot of great guitar players play really percussively. So, And that's fantastic. How you do anything or what, it doesn't really matter, I think. It's what happens in the end, if anything does happen.
So I want to know if you have studied from Slominski and method and like Coltrane and so on.
Oh, well...
And how much was important for you in the study of Slominski?
Well, because my reading's so bad, the Nicholas Slominski book was pretty good because everything's written with no key signature. So it's good. I think everybody's got that book, don't they? It's a good book. Everything's in it, but you have to figure out how to use it. Yeah, John Coltrane was a really big inspiration for me. In fact, I'd only just really discovered him when I read a few weeks later in the Melody Maker that he died. It's sad. Felt like I really knew him. I guess I did. Because we all did.
Since you don't like your own music and that, what
I
exactly
didn't say I didn't like my own music. What I said is I don't like my own playing.
Alright.
All different things.
What music do you listen to give you some inspiration?
Well, actually, all kinds of music. I listen to pop music, I listen to classical music, I listen to jazz. There's really a visible kind of all those kinds of music. You know, there's no specific kind of music that's good. It's just there's really bad classical music and there's really wonderful classical music. And same applies to all kinds of music. So I try and listen to as much, you know, as I can. Also, when you work with like great musicians like this, they're always constant source of inspiration by what they play for me, you know, like just listening to the other guys playing. And usually they've got tapes of somebody, you know, as the new guy on the block, which is great. It's always great to hear that.
Could you explain to us what sort of electronics you use to create your sound? The whole bank of goodies on your own?
Yeah, well, basically, the concept is really simple. Is that I found that I could never get one amplifier to do everything, so I gave up on that whole idea. And the concept of the way that I use equipment now is they're two completely different things. I have one set for playing clean and one set for playing nasty, and I just use different sets of processing for each. Like on the lead guitar, it's basically the simplest one because I just use the amplifier, and I've devised a little load box that I make myself, which runs into all of the effects, which actually all the lead goes to stereo delay line and two other stereo echoes, and the rhythm is just got a lot of different stuff on it. Was there any specific thing you wanted to know?
Allan, I'd like to know if you could tell us a little bit about what your average recording session is like. How much you did take to the other guys, and perhaps Gary or Jimmy will serve it up to shoot some light on that too.
Well, actually, we do it usually the same. I just play the piece for the chaps at some point when we're rehearsing online, and just give them the basic form, like the chord structure, you know, the basic harmonic and rhythmic structure of it, and then everybody just plays how they feel it, you know, completely themselves. You know, they just do what they want with it, which is why I like playing with these guys, because they always make it sound a lot better than it does when I do it on my own. True men.
Jimmy, I'd just like to ask you, I noticed when you were playing, there seemed to be like quite a lot of jokes, or you were laughing quite a lot. What's it like playing with Gary? Because that's somebody who is like all over the beat and across it and on top of it and underneath it. And
That's great, nice.
Hello?
Oh, it's great. It's really it's fun to play with Gary. It definitely keeps you awake.
I was going to say, I mean, is it just trying to lock in, or don't you try and lock in? Is it like playing around each other?
Well, hopefully the beat's still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just free. You know, it's just kind of
I'm really bad at explaining something like this.
Well, the time is always there, you know.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't there, it'd be just impossible. I mean,
Yeah,
both
it's
both of these guys know exactly where it is, and it's the poor guys like us who are trying to figure it out. They definitely know where it is.
That's just a freer approach, you know, but I mean, it's definitely not a punk band.
No, I like to play that way, because it's the way it flows, rather than being locked onto a beat, the way the beat's implied, but it's not necessarily actually put straight on it.
Yeah,
It's
we're
really
not,
good.
we're not always playing down. So it is fun, yeah.
Whatever happened to the project you had back in '79, Jack Bruce and John Heidman? It looked fantastic potential on paper.
Well, like most things, well, I'm sorry to say this about England because I love England and the days where the people are there. But trying to get any kind of deal in England is almost impossible, which is the main reason that I moved. And we couldn't get anybody interested in the band, so we can do it. Simple as that.
Alan, talking of influences, you wear your guitar very high. Is Jerry Marsden being influenced on the play?
If he was it really high, I guess he was subliminally maybe.
Alan, you've mentioned in interviews you practice scales by playing sort of 4 notes of string as opposed to the normal sort of 3 up and down approach. And do you do that by playing slides, or do you sort of just use sort of position shifts, or is it just a method of sort of jumping?
Well, it's all position shifts, but it's not so jumpy as jumping positions because they connect the positions. You just play like. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, I used to practice that, just playing all the scales with four notes on one string.
Is that done with a slide, or is it just a...
No, you just do it with a reach, you know, you just reach each note. There's no slide because where your fourth finger ends, the first finger begins. If you were playing up, there's some major stuff starting on there.
When you're comping down, say Steve, who's doing a solo, are you playing basic chords of the tune, or are you improvising the chord as well?
Well, I'm playing the chord sequence of the tune, but I'm not necessarily playing the same voicing of that chord each time, but I'm playing the chord sequence hopefully.
Are you playing a set thing, or are you improvising?
Oh, I'm improvising the chords,
Yeah.
so to the best of my ability.
Have you sensed a change in attitude, the sort of attitude that meant that you had to go to the States in the first place? I mean, in Britain.
Well, not being here and working here anymore, it's hard for me to know. You know, you could answer that better than I could, because I've been away for like 8 years, so I don't know. It may have changed. According to Gary, it hasn't.
Yeah, well, he's a better judge than I am.
I have a non-technical question.
Yeah.
You seem to like sax players that much. Why have you never invited anybody to play on a record?
Well, actually, I thought about it, and I did actually invite Michael Brecker to play on an album, but we couldn't get it the same. We just couldn't coordinate it. And I have thought about it a lot, and probably will do that at some point.
That's a good idea.
Whatever happened to your amazing jazz singer you used to have?
Which one? Oh, you mean Paul? Paul Williams. He came back to England, as far as I know. He came back. I don't know why he came back, but he did. He's here somewhere. I mean, not in this room, I don't think. I haven't seen him for a long time.
And a question for Dean Blair, because you've been left out so far. What sort of finger exercise do you do on the keyboard in this awful weather to like warm up and get your fingers around those amazing sort of licks and stuff when he's playing chords?
Actually, this weather is a bit warmer than where I'm from. Not from Boston. It's a bit colder there. Not really with that. Not really.
It's from Tea, he says.
Answer the question.
That's about it. Like, just normal keyboard exercise scales and wiggle a lot at the end, just wiggle. Nothing, you know, nothing special.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will dispute the fact that you are a groundbreaking musician, right? You don't think nobody else has ever done it before. But in doing so, don't you think, or aren't you afraid, that you might have left some of us behind in a sense, especially some of us who don't actually play musical instruments?
No, because in actual fact I never really worried about that, because number one is I always felt that music could reach people who didn't know anything about it, and they could feel something from it, even if they didn't understand it at all. So from that point of view, no, but from a technical point of view, no, because I know as well, because I never consider what anybody else thinks about it. I don't write a tune and wonder what the guy next door is going to think about it. I just try and do something to the best of my ability at that point in time. Well, actually, I wrote that tune really fast. Most tunes, when I start them, I write them fairly quickly. But then to fit the form, you know, to exactly mold it exactly how I think it should be when the band play it, then that takes longer. But the actual piece, usually I get them fairly quick. Once I get them. Yeah. Well, I usually start by practicing. I'll just be practicing and then I'll find something and then I just work on it or extend it.
Do you have a composer in your head before you play on guitar?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I've never actually written a whole piece like that. No, I've never developed that. But I do hear things before, and so sometimes I start out with something that I've heard, and sometimes it's something that came about by actually playing. No, I only compose on guitar because it's the only instrument I can sort of play. Oh, actually, on the syntax is, in fact, the syntax has helped me a great deal with that, because it took me out of the realm of the guitar in as much as I didn't have to worry about, I didn't have a tuning situation anymore, and the thing goes from DC to VHF, so anything that I can, it's just, that really opened up my composing, I think. Or it changed it, or added another thing to it.
Jimmy, what gear do you use, Jimmy?
Third gear. Sorry. Olympic basis. This is my Walter Woods amp here for Little Red One, a couple of rental cabinets. And I just like the bass DI, so I bring a direct box to studios. So the Walter Woods is my small rig, and I have a larger rig that's got some bi-amping crossover stuff in it. Kind of a full range sound.
Any compression?
No. In the studio sometimes, but not by choice.
What state is it?
One more time?
What state
my small rig is just two EV12s. Yeah, these are amp but my rig at home is EV12s with this Walter Woods head, and the big rig is Myers speakers. It's like PA gear.
All 12 inch speakers?
No, the big rig has two 15s and two 12s and two horns.
It sounds mondo.
A bit over the top.
Hello, Alan. I've got your first UK album that you played on. Yeah. I thought it was good. Is there any particular reason why you left the UK setup and also brought the group?
Yeah, there was totally mismatched from the beginning, the UK thing, and the only reason I got asked to do that was because of Bill, because I think Bill liked my playing, so he introduced me to that particular band. But it was sort of, when you join something like that, you never know how it's going to be. It could be great or it could be terrible. In this instance, it worked out really bad for me. You know, I didn't enjoy the music at all, and they didn't enjoy what I did within the band. I was expected to play the same solo every night, but didn't know how to do that. So it didn't work. You know, it was a total disaster.
The One of a Kind album, which I recently got, it's very similar to the first UK album.
Yeah, except that I had some sort of input in that, and everything was done more as a band then. The way the UK album was done is there was nobody there at the same time. You know, one guy plays the bass, and then the guy goes in and does the drums, and the next guy goes in and does the keyboard, and the guy goes in and you know, and you just kind of pass each other in the doorway. So it didn't. I didn't like that.
Gary? What you did today, what are your feet doing? What's the bass drum pedal? How do you get such power and speed?
Power with the bass drum.
Okay.
I don't know actually. You know, I play with an awful lot of guys play with just the toe, and I don't. I play with the whole foot. So in a lot of ways, people inform me that you can get much more power playing with your toe than you can with your foot. But I don't know. Maybe you should ask Gordy about that.
Do you ever experience pain in the small of your back?
Yes, but mainly through drinking. It's a liver complaint.
You guys want to carry on doing a bit more playing and we'll take some questions?
Sure.
Yeah.